Hold on, now your viewpoint is selfish, it's blinkered, and it's biased.
Yeah, it's too aggressive, man.
No. We turning up now.
You know
We turning up. You didn't do all that.
But is it invalid? Is it true? Has it happened? It's valid.
No, it is. She's
biased. No, it's biased. And I keep saying it's biased because you're mixed race. Because you're mixed race. Yeah,
man.
No.
You know what it is?
No. Everything she says.
An African prince or an African king would also say, bruh, being black is wealth. Being black don't stop.
No one's denying that.
Hold on, Jedi.
No one's denying that. But what you're doing is saying, because I had this and I experienced this, and because my dad was like, I've got friends whose dads are chiefs and that. Yeah, and diplomats and all shit, and their perspective ain't like them. Like cool, because you come from this and you've had the opportunity or whatever.
Yes, it's worse because I'm on the other side of success.
No, but
I can tell you what you're doing wrong. It's your mentality.
One second, everyone. But that's not empathy.
When you
no, one second, please, Jinx. 1 second. That's not empathy. Just because you've had this experience doesn't mean that's everyone's experience.
Empathy
and doesn't
is
mean
telling the solution without having to sugarcoat it.
1 second. Like, this is the thing, yeah? I'm not asking you to sugarcoat. I'm asking you to understand fully the groups. And I said from the beginning, one thing you can't do is fully understand the black perspective. Your dad could be black, your grandma could be black, rare, and you can't fully understand the white perspective because you are neither. And because of that, you actually should be more mindful about making sweeping statements. You think being mixed... Hold on. You think being mixed gives you more advantage to speak on both sides and how it is, but it gives you less.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
You've got more advantage because I'm neutral.
Sorry, you've got more advantage on talking about being mixed.
No, I've got advantage because I'm neutral.
What are you talking about, bro? That's like me having mixed kids.
I belong to both and I belong to none. So that means I'm both in and I'm both out.
No, you're not.
So I'm
you're not.
You're
not. You already said you're not. You already said you're not. You already said you're not black. You already said you're not white.
No, I'm not black.
Right,
and I'm not white.
I'm black.
No.
I'm black.
No, I'm not black.
But I'm black. So if I have mixed kids, I can't dominate the view on what it is to be mixed. That's my child's perspective, not mine.
That's okay.
Right? So I can say, I understand a bit and I can empathise and I've been there when that happened, I've been there what happened, but only they are going to be able to grow up and talk about their reality.
Yes.
Now, as a mixed race person, you're growing up with your mixed race reality, your mum's white, your dad's black. Doesn't mean that when you get to 18 or 35 years old, you can speak on all. I can speak for blacks, and I can speak for. No, you can't.
I'll tell you what it is.
You can't because you're neither. Just like I can't speak on your experience fully.
But I can infiltrate both sides, and I can look at both sides and belong to both sides, and also not belong to both sides at the same time.
You're contradicting yourself.
Yes, I can because you cannot tell me that I can't go to my black family and not belong.
But you said you don't.
I do belong with my black family, but it doesn't mean that I'm black.
You're contradicting yourself. You know what it is, though.
So because I'm mixed race, I don't belong to my black family.
I ain't heard you shout like this since back chat.
But this is because you see, like, because this is what I understand. See her argument there. Because see, everything you said is factual, but when you add that bit, it's because you're mixed race. When you bring the race into it, it brings something else out of it.
What it does is identify your experience.
Yeah. So what she's doing is she's speaking from her perspective instead of the perception that's happening.
Yes.
And this is why I say you're a bit aggressive with it because you see, like, when you add your mixed race bit, now it weaponizes and it mobilizes.
No, it's not. It's factual.
See what happens to her?
Because her experiences
and what she's been through.
Her experience is a mixed race experience.
It's personal to her though, because her mixed race experience is probably different to mine.
Yeah,
but
when you bracket it all together,
but she did that first. I'm only following her lead.
That's okay.
Because remember what she said. You wanna wipe us all out, and I was gonna say, who's us? Because every mixed race person ain't the same.
Yes.
They did different mixes.
But we're all mixed though.
Yeah, you're all mixed.
We're bracketed in all.
Exactly, and that's
so
the problem.
Are you using it or not?
No,
are you
that's
doing
the problem.
collective
I
or not?
said that as a joke, but even me and Chinks, despite us also being similar skin tones, our race doesn't mean anything about our experience because race is irrelevant. It comes down to culture, comes down to experience and mindset.
Because you're mixed.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Because you're mixed.
It doesn't matter if I mix. My experience is not the same as his.
If you put a bunch of mixed people, we
kind of have. We kind of fucking have.
In the middle, to tell them, pick which side. You're going to have some mixed people are going to go to the white side, and you're going to have some mixed people are going to go to the black side. Do you get what I'm saying?
And you got some mixed people that say none. And not all mixed people are white and black. He's got several mixes in him, and yet he's being grouped in the same space as me, even though it's not the same. So race is irrelevant.
Sorry, you guys grouped yourselves together. Did you not just do that?
No, you grouped us together because you just said you purposely picked You purposely picked light-skinned people to sit down on this podcast to have this conversation. Already the assumption.
No, I didn't.
The assumption is that we're the same.
No, I didn't.
And we're not the
Sorry.
same.
Well, think about it. Think about it this way. Think about it this way, right?
Can you imagine?
One second.
They're still trying to say that because we're the same skin tone, we must have some similar conversations.
Sorry, one second. Let me just say this.
Do you see what I mean? But we're not the same. What makes us similar is the fact. Go on, sorry.
One thing I didn't do, was ever say that your experiences were the same. One thing I never said. What I did, what I never did. You're putting words into my mouth. You are the only one that has said, oh, we may have similar experience, we're rare. His experience and your experience. I'm not doing that. What I did was I brought somebody that claims they don't care about mixing. Yeah? And somebody that says that they do care and you're quite passionate about it.
I don't care about mixing.
That's
what I'm saying. I keep saying that race is irrelevant.
When you're saying that, mixed race people suffer more racism and some of the points I heard you saying before, this is why I selected you, because I knew you would be passionate about the point. Then I know I've got my brother here, Raven,
maths.
who is practicing black betterment, meaning he's just blackity black. I'm black, y'all. I'm blackity black, the black. He's on that, right?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean, right?
Yes.
So now we're having this conversation.
Even he might get at some points, maybe within a certain crowd, if they don't find out what his lineage is actually like, because he's light skinned, people may even deny him of his blackness because he's light skinned. So this is what I'm saying.
I don't know about that.
And let me. It is true.
Some of my Igbo uncles.
You already mentioned his forearms. You already mentioned his forearms being light skinned.
Yeah.
And he's fully black.
Yeah, but I'm not saying he's not black. And fully black is a madness. Notice
some stuff she said.
Yeah, we're doing fully black. It's mad.
You see some of the stuff she said that she's referring to, because you might not notice it as a black person.
I notice
some people who are mixed look at it. It's like the same thing with the watermelon. So because you mentioned the lightness of his arms, I said, hold on.
But that was against me though. That watermelon's against me.
No, but if I was the same as you, per se, it's the whole you don't fit with them. You more.
But you've already told me that you're not black.
No, but in terms of his thing, where he said the acceptance and stuff, because we're part of the community.
But you've been accepted, so you can't even follow her down that line.
No, but
don't accept it. Like the fact is,
I don't care about being accepted.
No, but I haven't finished because what I'm saying, if I was accepted, that forearm joke doesn't happen.
Why?
Do you get what I mean to a degree?
Why not?
Because you're highlighting a difference. Because you see like Kendrick and
What
Drake.
does that matter?
But that's all we do amongst each other.
No, but
two dark-skinned man. One's gonna bust a joke about being African.
But you're doing it. But you're doing it as a joke.
One second. But we, like you already made this point that we differentiate between ourselves. We have tribalism in Africa. So this whole thing of we don't differentiate, we do that all the time.
Yes.
Look at your Ghanaian head. Look at get me. We do this all the time.
Yes,
yeah?
you do.
So that's normal human behavior.
Yes.
To highlight the differences in each other.
Yeah.
Yes,
highlight
but
and
is
brush
it
jokes.
relevant?
Because we celebrate our differences, we laugh at our differences, and we weaponize our differences.
So, but
this is human nature.
There's truth in jest, though, and in those like humorous points, it goes back to the Kendrick thing. You're not like us.
Basically,
it does. Sorry. In my opinion,
to the point telling me that I'm
it's
racist
only this one.
because I say that race
it's only
is
this
irrelevant.
one scream. Like listen, we're all the same.
You're shouting to relax.
As soon as you lot start dismissing my experience, no. As soon as you start dismissing the experience of this group because you think you're part of both and think, I can infiltrate both and I can speak for that event. As soon as that starts happening, then you are telling me that we're different.
Okay.
When we grow up,
that's my point though.
When we grow up, when I grew up, my mixed race friends were my mixed race friends. Yeah, I understand you're mixed race, but we didn't treat each other any different. Do you know what I mean, right? It weren't none of that. But what did become different was when they started othering themselves. When you other yourself or whatever, when I understand, okay, you're going to get treated in that way, society would show us the difference between each other. And we'd utilise that amongst ourselves. Oh, bro, you go in, or you drive today.
You're talking from your personal experience.
No, but I'm saying this is a collective thing where we understand how to utilise the differences and recognise the differences.
In my world,
but to me, all my mixed race brothers, we were all black.
Yes.
I don't know when it came to a point where it's like, okay, you know what? You're more than black. I get it. Now we're trying to. No, you're more than black. You're not just black. You're white too.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So you just being, but that was more a thing of them maybe getting more confidence in expressing their own identity.
I know, but
and whatever.
That's the point promised
we were
land,
black.
though. Do you get what I mean, though? So
And we weren't different. We weren't othering people. If anything,
You do
we were.
other people.
If anything, we were putting mixed race people and lighter skinned people on a pedestal.
And treating
Shouldn't
them
do
like
that.
shit.
Jews shouldn't do that.
Not lie.
Shouldn't do that.
Not lie.
We fully accepted
Listen,
them.
so
We fully
you
accepted
say
them.
that, but I've sat here as a mixed race person and I've said that is not the experience that a lot of mixed race people have. And you continue to say that, but this is what black people do for
we're just
mixed race
trying to-
people, which is not true.
We're both just trying to be right.
No,
Do you get what I mean? We're
but-
not actually...
But it's okay, and the whole point is race creates an experience that every single person will have. Some people will try and say that their experience is worse than the others. The whole point is that the experience you'll have regardless, because we're humans. The whole point is that the experience doesn't really matter, because if you internalize that experience and you make it mean something, if you make your race mean something, especially negative, which is what all of you are doing, then that's the problem. I've sat here to say, regardless of whether or not you've experienced racism, it does not stop you from becoming a wholesome and educated human.
No
And
one's saying. Are you arguing against
and
us with that point? Or
no,
you just,
I am
we
simply,
know this.
and I'm simply then explaining that I know this because my experience is that I've been rejected and discriminated against and treated badly by both black and white, and Asians and Chinese and all of these people that you also deal with. Except that the only difference is,
but you still come to tell us race ain't an issue.
The only difference,
because you're both racist, race ain't an issue. And that's what I'm saying.
The only difference is when I tell you that the 5 groups reject me, you get 4 groups that reject you, so I get rejected more often. You then tell me about no, you got mixed race privilege because
you do though.
No, but I don't.
But you do. But you do.
This
You
is what
do.
you think,
and you don't want to recognize it.
Listen,
or you don't like.
I
Maybe
don't-
you feel like you've never.
Listen.
Cool. But how would you know if you did?
And
You get me? I know when I get black privilege.
I
know when I get the same stereotypes.
need to
I know
put
when
more
I
value on that,
I know when I utilize
Yes.
these things. I use them.
Give me an example, please.
Everyone's good to move out the way, bro. When I'm coming through. Yeah? There's one more seat. You're not likely to want to sit there. Yeah, cool. When it comes to like, right, all right, let's fuck them up. You're probably going to choose me last.
I don't have
You're probably,
light skin
like,
privilege.
you know what I mean? There's certain things, like when it comes to physical things, I'm probably, when it comes to musical things, you're probably going to say, yeah, oh, rah. Like, do you know what I mean? So there's areas where the stereotypes, you can utilize them for your benefit. Right, cool, and I can exercise black privilege in many things, especially when it comes to cultural things like art, creative things, all these things. There's a lot of black privilege in certain areas, but then at the same time, there's the white privilege. That's why you will get the RD or the H come true and bust, and because we understand that you don't have to be better. You don't have to be better than the competition. You just have to be able to mimic the competition. That's why we'll get an Adele. Or we'll get rare. You don't have to be better, and you will get lauded and celebrated. We understand that too. And if we got white friends and whatever, like for instance, I'll give you a good example of white privilege. Yeah, just simple, right? Imagine I'm doing a battle rap. Back in the days, I used to do a bit of battle rapping, jump off TV, right? Imagine I'm doing a battle rap, and I've got like it's me versus Justo, me versus Mag, rare, and it's like rare. Now it's me versus Tim. Tim's the little white guy with the glasses. Yeah, as soon as he steps on, I'm already at a deficit. He don't have to say much. Yeah. He could just say, "Suck your mum," or "You're not really a gangster," or "You ain't got no gun," and the crowd's going, "Whoa!" Why?
That's a battle rap, though. I suppose.
Yeah, no, but why though? It's because of the social implications of it. Like you don't have to be as good. We have a fascination with a white person that can mimic or reflect or do the same type of music. We will push that up. Like, oh my God, yeah, he's sick. Rare, oh, rah, he's sick. What we're not finishing is for a white boy. Yeah, but there's a privilege in that. No, it's a silly example. But what I'm saying is,
what is a silly
like what I just gave. It's a silly example, but I'm trying to explain that. Okay, being mixed race, it can be advantageous, and we're not even acknowledging this.
Okay,
as well.
so
every race has their advantage.
I just said that.
No, I know, but
can
can I just say something?
I think some
honestly, I don't take it as an attack. Do you know when my privilege came in? When I had my glow up. Which tells me that my privilege never been the light skin privilege. My privilege currently is my pretty privilege. Because I'm pretty, and that's how I get it.
But you see, the whole bringing race into it, it's
ridiculous.
It does something.
It's unnecessary.
Do you get what I mean?
It doesn't mean shit. It really
because she's
doesn't.
going to have a certain example of why it goes against you and the mixed thing. And so the race, and this is why I think, you see that whole accepting, because she's on a kumbaya tip. Mixed people usually are, because I have a family structure.
Exactly.
I have some positives here.
Exactly.
I have some positives here. So I just want I want the speech. I want
another
us all
part
to
of
live
it-
as one.
and guess what?
And then you want better for black
But
people.
another part is because you're not black and you're not white and you have experiences of not being accepted in both of them. You tell everyone, fuck race. Race don't mean nothing. That's a typical. That's a typical thing. Either for people in mixed race relationships and people that are mixed race, a typical thing is to say, fuck race. It don't matter. Very rare. We're all
when it comes down to it, when it comes down to it,
I'm not saying that's what you are.
When it comes down to it, it really doesn't. It's only because you're allowing it to be. Even listen, my family, I've got white and I've got black family, both being Angolan, right? Both sides of the family suffered the same when it comes to war. Both sides of the family can suffer the same when it comes to poverty. It's just continuous. Is that misconception that white means something more than what it does? White people struggle. White people suffer.
Let me say something shocking now. Can I say something shocking then, yeah?
White people doesn't mean that you have generational wealth. You guys get it so wrong. The main problem with race comes down with people attaching inferiority to superiority to race.
You have systemic wealth and systemic access.
Me personally,
I don't have that because also on top of that I'm a foreigner, which means that I have no foot to stand on other than my substance. My race don't mean shit. My background don't mean shit.
10 points for that. 10 points for that. I'm going to say this though.
As Tommy would say.
Hold on, fam. I don't mean to be shocking.
And I'm okay with that because that is the truth. This is not my land. And when black people start to accept that, you stand out like a sore thumb here because this is not your land. Go back home and you never have these problems. There's no systemic racism because you're all black.
Ain't no black in the Union Jack. Give us a ticket and we'll go back.
Here's a shocking thing.
First class, please.
The thing is, realistically, yeah.
First class.
The
Your chest is high. You get it.
From my standpoint, I would never have a conversation with you or any person with one black parent. The real conversation is with the parent because the black parent, because you have to always say, look, marry who you want, love who you want. But once you bring life into this world, the things you're describing could be a reality.
Look what you fucking done.
And we haven't fixed it yet amongst the human population.
What could be a reality?
It's too problematic.
All these
so right now,
the hardships you face, he wants to
go.
go back in time and erase you so you don't have to suffer like you have as mixed race people.
What I'm saying is,
you suffer regardless because
the conversation is
human.
Is that a kindness? Is that a kindness when people like Terminator?
You're living experience.
But if you then say that,
You're
then black
living
people
experience.
shouldn't have kids because black people are going to go suffer racism in the world. So you should not have kids to stop your own suffering then. Is that what you're saying?
That's a good point.
I'll say what I'm saying.
Don't play
Everything
with
I say comes from a black perspective, right? And the question is, how do you get enough people, black members of the community, to actually make a difference, to actually fix things, right?
Can I tell you?
Oh, I can. Let me say one
Okay,
thing.
go
You
on,
can say
sorry,
this,
go on.
right? Yeah, and the thing is, right now, it's like if we're seeing a consistency in people who have one parent who's black, one parent who's white, and it's causing all these pains, then it's like my conversation can't be with them because they're going through it. The conversation has to go with their parents and go, look
what you done.
You have to try to fix this. You have to try to. If you're going to marry a European, you have to be part of the process to make your children not go through the experience. Because when it comes to us practicing black betterment,
but then
they're going to be self-sabotaging all through the process.
But on the flip side, if you have black kids and then they suffer systemic racism or whatever, you can't go to the kids. You're going to go to the parents.
Say again?
You can't talk to the kids. You're still gonna have to talk to the black parents and say, "Well, you've had these black kids now."
So look what you done.
So it's just a parental conversation then.
Yes, but the thing is,
it's not special because one's black and one's white.
Here's what it is,
Exactly.
right? You have to have a template that works for your collective best interest of your people group, right? And
Why do you say that?
Because it's like this. You have to establish, right, that you want better, and then once you've said you want better, you have to have a process of how is that achieved. And sometimes you have to break.
When you say you want better, though, for who?
So when we look at the black figures, like people who are black, and
some people don't care about that though. Some people just want to be able to live freely and enjoy their life
and marry who they want to marry and take to bed who they want to take to bed.
And that's why I'm
do love.
No, sis. That's why I call myself an open door elitist. So open door elitists, we don't really discuss that. What we say is we understand that a smaller number of people control the world, right? And this is how it just works. So it's like if black people, this is going to be very shocking. So let me say it, right? So what it is if that's the case, then you can't include everyone who's got these opinions about universalism or we don't care.
That's
it's
what
like,
my point was. Yeah,
good
the
point.
open door elitism
it's no. So what it is there will be an Ethiopian, a Nigerian, a biracial, whatever. Like, let's come together. Let's try to own a magazine, and in that magazine promote black hairstyles and black love, and let's try to get sponsorship that gets black football players or whatever it is. So we're constantly trying to do things.
She's gonna be like, why just black
because it's not
football players?
meritocratic. I believe in
why not?
No, but it's
why not white footballers?
Because it's discriminating against other people that also deserve certain opportunities. Because discrimination goes beyond race. Why is racism more important than classism? Why is racism more important than child poverty? Why is racism more important than certain issues that affect people more universally?
Within all of those,
you don't care.
Within all of those issues you mentioned, racism and or more importantly, white supremacy is usually at the core of all these things. Yeah.
And that
even when you see the white population suffering, you understand it's a certain type of white. Right? And they're suffering for a certain type of people to be above them.
Now we've reached somewhere, so it's not white.
No, it is.
The elite.
It's still white supremacy.